You know the benefit of links, you know you need more of them. You may even be thinking of hiring a link builder or looking for an agency who builds links. But what kind of links should you be getting? Keep watching this video and I'll share with you exactly the types of links you should be building and the ones you should be avoiding like the plague. Not every link is as good as the next one, and just because your competitor is ranking at the top with, for instance, 50 backlinks, that doesn't necessarily mean you'll rank above them once you hit 51. I mean, if that was the case, it would be a free-for-all and everyone would just be blasting the site with as many links as they could. A major factor which affects the weighting of a link is this often overused but pretty simple word which comes up time and time again: quality. But the problem is, what exactly makes a high quality link? First, before you dive into your wallet and purchase the next subscription of, Super Duper Link Analyzer Pro for $99 a month, there is no tool in the world which is going to scrape a list and tell you which site is a quality site and which isn't. I mean, sure, you can figure out with certain tools what the authority of a site is, what spam score is, and maybe estimate its traffic. There's things like SEMrush and Moz and these kind of things. But the tool you need is something that you're using right now, this minute, and that is the human eye. It's the reason why sites are being penalised left, right, and centre, and it's sites propped up by bad PBNs or tumbling down the rankings. Google's artificial intelligence system, the RankBrain, is essentially becoming a human brain but on supersonic speed. It can tell which sites are a pile of crap and which aren't. So your main concern is simply this: is the site relevant? And is the link from that site placed in a natural contextual way? If it meets that criteria, then you're well onto your way to building the right types of links. Now, I'm not saying to completely abandon SEO tools completely. I mean, I use Ahrefs and Moz quite frequently, but what I'm saying is do not rely solely on these, and don't disregard a potential link target just, for example, because it has a domain authority score of 20. I see a lot of agencies do that, and it really is a mistake. If it has good quality content, it seems to be getting comments or social shares. There's still a likelihood there is relevant traffic coming through from that site. And at the end of the day, you want to drive traffic to your site. It's not just about ranking your site for ranking's sake. So that kind of gives you the basis of what high quality links should look like. But I'm going to run through some specific things which affect the quality of a link. The first factor is authority. This is essentially a measure of how trusted is the site. You can assess this with various tools like Moz and Majestic, but it boils down to the same inherent thing. The more authority that a site has, the more likely that a link from that site will have a major effect on your own site. It's the same reason why a link from a large news site like the BBC will hold more weight than a link from a newly created blog. As you'd expect, in most cases, authoritative sites tend to have followed good SEO practice themselves, and themselves also have good quality links. Acquirability. Are these just citations or directory links? For instance, can anyone get the link by just clicking a few buttons or filling out a form? While it may be good for link diversity, anything that is very easy to acquire is likely to have negligible or no effect on traffic. If it was that easy, everybody and their neighbour would probably have a link from this place. Are the links paid for? This is a bit of a controversial one, but are you buying a large amount of links for cheap? For instance, a lot of services being sold on places like Fiverr or other freelancer sites are selling dozens, hundreds of links, sometimes for $100 or less. Again, a lot of these are probably pretty spammy links. They've been automated in some way and you run the risk of actually getting your site penalised. A lot of these paid for links may even be part of some organised linking scheme such as a blog network or some kind of guest post farm. Again, you're putting yourself at risk by associating yourself with these kind of sites. There are some circumstances, however, where paying for a link using a medium such as a sponsored post is fine. And in certain industries, this is the norm, to have to pay to be featured in some way. The quality of the site still needs to be assessed, however. Relevancy. Is it placed on a relevant site, or is the content on the page relevant? This is the primary factor which affects where search engines will place a site. You can't expect, for instance, that a link to a construction company in the UK is going to be placed on the site of a yoga site based in India. There's sometimes room for bridging content where you can relate the two industries or the niches, but let's be reasonable here. Do follow. Is it a do follow link or is it a no follow link? Do follow is the preferred link type, and generally it's thought that it has effect on the SEO of a site. While no follow links have no inherent effect, they will of course still drive referral traffic. Controversial matter, however, as some in the industry believe that no follow links do still contribute to the SEO of a site. However, having link diversity isn't a bad thing also. Is it a relevant anchor text? At the same time though, there needs to be some diversity in the anchor text of your links. Too many with exactly the same anchor is unlikely to happen naturally, and that in itself could put your site in danger. It's much better to have a variation in the anchors that you're using, even a proportion of them which say useful resource or click here to find out more, or anchored with your company name, is better than, for instance, trying to have every anchor say accountant in London or whatever it is you're trying to target. Also, is the link within the content of the article? Search engines consider these to be most likely to be an editorial link. A link in the sidebar or in the footer of a page would be considered lower quality. Take into account surrounding links. How many other links are also on that page? Lower the amount of links on the page where yours is placed. Generally, the higher the quality of your link. We call this the kind of link juice dilution effect. In addition, how authoritative are the other links on that page? Not to say that if the page also linked out to a lower quality site, that it would negatively affect yours, but just that it could potentially give that link less weighting. Also, uniqueness. Have they already linked to you at some point? Preferably, you want to diversify your link profile as much as possible. Having 10 links from 20 different sites is probably better than having 200 links from 3 sites. Thanks for watching this video. I hope that cleared up any questions you may have had about the criteria you need to meet for a high quality link. But the key thing is, do not overcomplicate this. Look for relevant, trusted sites that have a real audience, and you'll be on the way there. Thanks for taking the time out to watch this video. If you want to continue watching them and want me to keep making more of these, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.